All right, Tom, 3-2 home defeat to Khalsa today. Difficult one to take, and maybe if that penalty goes in, it might be slightly different.
Yeah, 100%. I think we massively had the momentum in the game. And yeah, it's just one of those things. If it goes in, as you say, we probably would have gone on to win the game, but it wasn't to be. But you can't just pin it on that one incident. There's a couple of goals where we've definitely switched off, and they have some very good players up top, very quick players, and they countered us really well a couple of times. But yeah, it was a game where there was times I thought we were excellent, there was times wasn't so excellent, and it was a very up and down game today.
Nat Ansu came on, made a real difference, 2 goals. From your point of view, you've got to be delighted with that.
Yeah, 100%. No, Nat was superb. I think that's the best potentially we've seen him all year. Really clinical, constantly a threat. And again, you could look in hindsight, could we have brought him on before and a bit earlier but hindsight's one of those things, isn't it, where we can maybe kick ourselves that we didn't do it earlier, but it's just one of those things. But yeah, brilliant performance.
6 yards out, Josh Walsh under the crossbar. He's got to bury that, hasn't he?
Yeah, potentially, but you could have said that about quite a few of the opportunities we've had. And I think we've just said in there, at the moment, I think the difference between us and the playoff teams is just a little bit more clinical, and occasionally we do switch off. I think particularly from when the ball goes out of play or it's a free kick, we do tend to take a couple of seconds too many to switch back on, and it costs us occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, the penalty just before half-time, it's a really bad time to concede a goal. Does he really need to make that challenge? It seems that the player's going absolutely nowhere, really.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one for Sadiq because he's going at full throttle, and the lads check back in. And I think when you're going at that pace that Sadiq does run at, it can be tricky to kind of check back with the player. So, again, I thought he actually had a really good game, and he did get us out of a few incidences where they were countering us pretty well. And I think if it wasn't for Sadiq back there with his pace and power, they potentially could have scored a couple more today as well.
Yeah, I think overall you've got to look at it and say they're a very good team. They're quick up front, but we've given them a really good game today. So for that, you've got to be delighted. And so I know it's not a win, but we're up there mixing it, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've just said again in there that there's too many times where when we win a game, we're absolutely buzzing. And then we lose, and it just feels like the world's going to end too often. And I think today there's quite a big difference in there where the lads have gone, like we've played a really good side, and we potentially could have beat them. So I think it's a bit of a weird one. Although we've lost, the mood is still pretty good after that.
And so it should be.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Tom, so we're going to move on to next weekend away at Hills Owen. They don't get any easier, do they?
No.
Although the weather forecast isn't particularly good all week.
Yeah.
But how's the preparation going to be for that game?
Obviously, yeah, it's difficult at the moment with the weather being as it is, and the time that we train, it's always absolutely freezing. It's pretty icy on there, so it's not ideal. But it's one of those things that we just have to deal with the hand that we're given. However, as you said, I think it's probably 50-50 whether the game will actually even be on. But yeah, they're a very good side, and again, it'll be similar sort of messages as we've come away from this. Regardless of the result next week, as long as we match them like we did today, then we'll have no complaints with the lads.
Okay, Tom, thanks for your honesty today, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Cheers.